Well, good evening all, and welcome to our viewers and listeners wherever you are. Today, the Cricket Show USA welcomes you on the T20 match day, which is match 2 of this 5-match series between the West Indies and India, where matches are scheduled to be played in the West Indies and the United States. I am happy to welcome Coach Jatin Patel and Cricket Show President Leon Francis. I am Dennis Heath. We hope to spend a few minutes with you to review events relating to the teams involved. Also, we love cricket, but we also love soccer, and we salute the 2023 FIFA Women's Soccer World Cup. And we hope to spend a few minutes maybe saying hi to those beautiful performances from the ladies. We are on www.blogtalkradio.com, the Cricket Show, and we can be reached on the phone 1515-605-9850. Good evening to you, Coach. Good evening to you, Leon.
Pleasant good evening to you, Dennis. Pleasure to be here with you guys again.
Right. So let me kick things off with my quick 2 minutes summary of what I observed today. T20 number 2, and India won the toss and elected to bat. 3 Indian batters contributed 102 runs, while 3 West Indies bowlers collected 2 wickets each. India's innings total was 152 runs for 7-wicket loss. 2 days ago, I decided that West Indies had little chance of winning T20 number 2, and I lost that bet. But West Indies chased and lost 8 wickets in scoring 153 runs to win. What is most remarkable is the similarity in the statistics side by side. India and West Indies innings total was very similar. Wickets fell at similar run totals almost. 3 bowlers produced for India and 3 bowlers produced for the West Indies. 3 batters produced for India and 3 batters produced for the West Indies. Absolutely, this match results could have been scripted. India's performance was below par, and West Indies below was not much better. Fans can only hope for better. Meanwhile, India's performance gives West Indies the illusions of rebirth. For me, 2 swallows does not signal the arrival of summer. So we wait, we hope, we watch, and we will see what the third test T20 match brings for us. That's my take, Coach. And Leon, back over to you, Leon.
Well, today's match was surprisingly a win for the West Indies, in my view. Surprising because how things have been going in the past few years and months. We have seen West Indies start well. They had a good match. But what was important today, they kind of got it together again. They found a formula and they stayed with it, and it helped. Puran batting was perhaps the hallmark of West Indies cricket today, because he stood out. And when he left, it was as if they were batting Hetmeyer and Jason Holder. I don't know what Jason Holder played today, if he wanted to play cricket. He just was stretching. But all in all, I thought India was about 20 runs or 25 runs shorter than where they should have been. West Indies had the game in hand, and when Puran left, it then went back to India. And they did not capitalize, but I had to give credit to Joseph and Akil. They really batted well. That it was ninth wicket partnership. Yeah, that really, 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 really turned the tables. And I have to give credit to West Indies because they fielded well. And like in the first match, the run out was crucial. Run out by Mayers was crucial. He was on point. And if they were to continue doing so, I have a feeling that they can win the series in Guyana. And then when it comes to Florida now, would be just plain to please the crowd. But it was a good encounter. It turned out to be tighter than I expected at the end. India came back and you could see they wanted a win. But Joseph and Akhil really batted because, like I always say, everybody has to bat. Not everybody has to bowl. Everybody has to bat, everybody has to feel, and you have a captain who had to think and make the decisions that he feels would be right. And sometimes some of his decision comes off, and other times it fails. But today, it seems as if they planned. And years ago, they used to open with a spinner and a pacer. And today, what I see done by Powell, I admire the way he rearranges bowling. He never kept them on too long. He bowled one ball over McCoy. Then he went back for Joseph. And then Joseph got a wicket. Then he switched up the spinner and bring Jason Holder. And he really tried so that no one batsman could get settled down to see how this bowler can. But all in all, West Indies deserve to win. They should have win by a larger margin, but a win is a win. But let's see if India gonna bounce back in match number 3. Good entertainment for the crowd, and hope it continues.
Brilliant, coach.
Yes, congratulations to West Indies. And after a long time, looks like they are on the knife edge. They can win this series. That's advantage they have at this point. But at the same time, the India still ahead of their agenda, what they're trying to achieve out of this series. And at the same time, as a coach, I will say it's disappointing and a little bit trouble on West Indies side, because if you look at this squad from India, it's missing so many frontline players, the first choice players, not in this series at all. And looking at the roster from the West Indies side, it's a heavyweight. They're supposed to win both games by a huge margin. It did not happen. Not only that, looking at the top 8 batsmen, including all-rounders from West Indies, T20, you can expect 200 to 300 range. I would say can go up to 350. That range striking capability and ability they have so far, besides Puran and captain, no one has shown any power behind those hitting big sixes. So that's a huge disappointment, I will say, and a huge concern. If you cannot put on a big score or easy wins against the secondary side of India, then you have huge concern coming up in the near future. Absolutely, India is holding on to the performance by keeping the West Indies under 150 first game. Today, they were fighting back, but even though they give a fight, which West Indies do not offer in most of the games, at least they are working for it until the last ball. And that's the thing is, absolutely nobody expected that West Indies can win 2 in a row, but now that's a reality. Numbers don't lie. And I will not be surprised if the West Indies can wrap up in Guyana with the 3 ODIs in a row. And basically these 3 T20 back-to-back winning. If I recall, it's happening after 9 years. And that's a huge for West Indies ahead of the next year's World Cup, because World Cup will be in West Indies, and this is the huge advantage if they can pick up the momentum at this point so they can attract more fans. For the fans, this is the beautiful thing to see. I was watching live today, and I can see the fans are enjoying. Means if the teams is doing good, If teams is fighting for it, if the team is coming up with the winnings, believe it or not, fans will come back. And that is what West Indies is achieving at this time.
Mm-hmm.
Coach, or rather, first to Leon's point, that Poran got based on his performance, got the man of the match today. I also felt that his performance in the first T20, that he was also deserving of the man of the match. He appears to have run into what they call that purple patch, where he seems unable to put a foot in the wrong place in these last half a dozen T20 matches that he's played in. He's led his Major League Cricket team to victory in the USA's version of the T20 series, and he's been performing wildly for them, his team, prior to the final match. Surprisingly enough, Coach, Pandya bowled pace for the 18th over rather than spin, given that the West Indian batters are somewhat suspect at handling spin. And with all those quick wickets having fallen, 3 quick wickets in at about the 17th over, after Powell got out, 3 quick wickets, and he literally had his hand around the stranglehold on the West Indies, and he pulled back. India, having performed without their major frontline players, does give West Indies that veneer and that illusion of what one would consider a resurgence. But West Indies' performance in the first T20 and their performance in this match does not suggest to me that, it's a signal of a revival or a summer. There's a lot that have to be done before we can consider that the West Indies troubles are over. They showed that, but for the fact that Pandya was so, dare I say, indecisive, he could certainly have wrestled this one away from the West Indies. And I still think that I'm still keeping my betting money in my pocket right now, because I don't see them making it 3 in a row against India. Back to you.
Yeah.
There is a strong
Then,
possibility. There is a strong possibility they'll make it 3 in a row, because India did not make any major adjustment. Even captain said at the toss that they made some mistake, means error, and I don't see them fixing it. First game, you got Akshar Patel only bowled 1 over, and then they were stranded, not able to find any other opportunity to bowl on. This game, it's a bigger mess now. Akshar Patel did not get single over in the entire inning. And at the same time, the India had advantage. There was a turning point, match turning point, when West Indies slide from 126 for 4 to 129 for 8.
mm-hmm.
The bowler who created this situation for the pressure, and looking at the remaining over 18, 19, and 20, being as a coach, player, I would say, does not make sense to me to drop the Chahal from bowling 18th over. He should have been bowled that last over.
My point.
Keeping this bowler for the 20th over, that's completely nonsense. Because 2 things. You put West Indies on the back of the wall with the huge pressure because of the collapse.
Yeah.
You must add the pressure at that time. Don't go slack. That's what the captain did. He went on for medium pacers, and he might have thought like last over 4 or 5 runs needed and I can bring Chahal. But guess what? Your bowler is vested here. The guy who brings the turning point, the guy who pick up the momentum, he was in a good tempo, I will say. You should have thrown the one more over to this bowler, no matter what, because game was lost at the end of the 16 over. Does not belong to you anyway. Why don't you give this chance to the good bowler who are giving you a hope for a win? So that's a huge mess. Top of that, there are bowling changes. I can say it's a disturbed class. Doesn't make sense. You know, you already played the same team. West Indies came out without single change. They keep the same 11 from the first game. And you have seen each and every batter out there up to 9. And now it's always the game strategy or tactical side is look for the batters or bowlers' weaknesses and the strength. And you have to make adjustment. Absolutely, you got put a lot of heavy weight on Puran only, but at the same time, there is other end, which is wide open. And certain bowling changes, I will say, sooner or later, captain will say, yes, there were a couple of bowling changes, did not go well according to the plan. So that's like, I will say India lost it because of the error on field. There are some changes, does not make sense. And this is the second game in a row where you can see the sixth bowler is not utilized properly. In this smaller format, you cannot rely on 5 bowlers, and that is the reason you are taking one extra bowler. If someone has an off day, this is the 6th bowler has to come out. Top of that, how you know if your 2 or 3 bowlers are not doing well, the 6th bowler may not do well without testing. He should have at least 1 over in this game. So there is a 2 things, major thing. Akshar Patel did not get opportunity. And Chahal, I will say, not used properly. He should have finished 4 overs compared to any other bowler in this squad. So those are the things, payback to India. We are not sure on what the strategy they have or agenda they have. But this one is a huge achievement for the West Indies to grab a series win after a long time.
Yeah, I agree with you, Coach. Chahal should have been bowled out, but he seems to have had a lot of faith in Manish, and Manish went for plenty. That that over that he gave him, we should have given him to Chahal, like he said, and he went, and especially when Puran went, you see how Jason Holder them was being spun around by the spin. Hetmeyer was a different player after Puran left. Hetmeyer couldn't play a ball. He was just playing with his pad. And the other batsmen, and you have this the Guyanese guy. He was not able. He was in a different ball game. He ran himself out foolishly. They had a good position and they threw it right back in India's favor because India's spin came and really, really bamboozled them. And then the captain, like you said, and I agree, he did not bowl out Shah. That's the big difference. 1 over and 1 ball left in the innings. He was probably playing to go into the final over. He didn't expect to bowl them out, but he got the wickets. You had two batsmen. If one had made a mistake, I don't know. McCoy couldn't. I've never seen McCoy make any runs of consequence, but and under pressure, could have done a lot of damage. So the captain erred, and when you err, of course, he's human, and let's see if he comes back. He bowled himself out, and he got 3 wickets, but the 3 wickets went for, well, eight and over. Not so bad, but you have no space were allowed for any any errors, and he, as a captain, erred. So it wouldn't be surprising, like I said before, that the West Indies can go up. But I feel, talking about the West Indies now, that they had to make a couple changes. I don't see Jason Hole. He bowled well, but he doesn't consistently bowl well in 2 matches. And if he bats well in one, he doesn't bat well in the next. And I see Charles, not like he's in a different league. He's just not playing. I thought Hope might not be prolific, but he's able to rotate the strike and make a big difference. With those Indians, you got to have somebody to bowl into a different batsman all the time. And Hope can play spin, and he can rotate the strike enough to give the other batters at the other end a chance for them to look at the bowler. A good match, nevertheless. West Indies win. I can't say it's a shoo-in for the West Indies to win the third, because India probably don't want to go in a hat trick of losses. But who knows? We'll see. They prepare the same thing, but I don't know if the captain was thinking that West Indies is going to prepare a fast wicket, and therefore, but the spinners were taking the wicket. Nevertheless, he got 3, but they were distributed. 4 went, well, you also managed. Kumar, he got a wicket, but they seem to have a lot of faith in him. So sometimes you win one, someone will lose some. So he made an error, and his team paid for it.
Yes, I think I would definitely agree with you both that I think Captain Pandya, he had the stranglehold on the West Indies, but released it. Yeah. Was that a sign of his overconfidence or one of weakness? I don't see him taking this approach in an IPL game, especially in view of his level of experience. So, this one, I think we can put in that file which says Pandya had a rush of blood and definitely did not live up to performance. As for the West Indies and changes, I agree with Leon there. I think that I would be tempted to replace Charles with Hope, and Carty I would bring in to replace Holder, because it's quite clear to me that he keeps getting a spot, but he has not shown me constructively that he has earned that spot. In the meantime, we are not grooming our younger players who are coming forward. And this is why I would make that particular change in the team.
But then I agree with you to an extent, but in Carty, though he is a good batter to rotate the strike, I think they needed the bowling of Holder. Holder didn't bowl so badly, but his batting was not there. We expect him to produce with the bat, and he didn't do that. Well, I can't see them bringing in Chase. I know singing Chase to put in another spinner, and he probably may not be able to do as well. But and Chase has been proven to be a very good fielder. In recent times, Carty have been dropping a few catches. So let's see what they do.
In my opinion, they need to bring the young players like a Khanze who can bat as well as he can bowl, and that can increase the strength of this West Indies team. Don't forget, the West Indies is still kind of unexpected team for me, where they are not able to perform on a given day, and they are horrible on next day. I will say, if they want to raise the standard in the outfield, the fielding side, they need to look for the young players. It's not about their experience and expertise. Giving them the opportunities, the chances at this level of series,
Yes.
It can be helpful for the upcoming 4 to 8 years for the West Indies cricket.
Mhm.
Point.
Certainly.
Solid.
I agree.
Mhm.
So I guess here we'll just look forward to the next match in 2 days' time. When
What
we
do you expect,
what-
result-wise? What do you expect?
I said West Indies winning 3 in a row.
No, you see, West Indies has not yet demonstrated that they have the consistency. They did it in the ODIs, and they did it. They win one, and suddenly, and you look at how fragile they were. First, 3 overs, they lost 3 wickets. Then in that middle over, they lost 4 wickets. But for Pandya's error in releasing the clamp, West Indies would have been in the worst. So basically, Pandya appeared to be building West Indies ego perhaps, or something. But
that is my point. That is my point. West Indies don't need to win. Captain Pandya will help you to win.
Right. That fine. Fair enough. We're on the same page, Coach. We are on the same page. That's it.
What I feel though, I feel that Pandya has to.
We're not seeing your face, Leon. We're seeing your head.
Oh, okay, good. Yes, I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm saying West Indies need to curb the batting of Puran. They have to find a way to curtail him.
Puran.
They need if they need to do that and see, and then we see where West Indies team come out.
I'm not sure that I follow that reasoning.
You know, for the reason,
No.
in order for them, they have not been able to check Puran. He's free. He's batting with a lot of freedom, confidence, and India has not been able to check him.
Oh, you said West Indies are not free. That's what the difference was.
Yeah.
What you mean? Yeah, I take your point. Yeah.
They have not
found. The West Indies need to go back to the simple thing which they started in the 70s and 80s.
Exactly.
Remember, they used to have a Larry Gomes.
Yes.
Then you got a Clive Lloyd. Then you have Alvin Kalichan. So there is a one lefty out there all the time, and they are in position. You have the Mayers is a lefty, Puran is a lefty, Hatmeyer is a lefty.
Yes.
They need to keep this combination at the crease all the time. And if we can do, believe it or not, it's a psychological advantage, and it's always a headache for the bowler and fielders, and they need to keep track on that.
Yes, yeah. So they can do well, but they're doing well not within themselves, but because they're being allowed the laxity and the freedom. It's not because they're better than India, but because India is now playing down to the West Indians level, why the West Indies are looking better. But, it might help ticket sales at the gate. So we welcome that aspect of it. And I'm yet to be convinced that, the rebirth has arrived.
Dennis, they have not, if West Indies lose Puran early, the real West Indies will come out. Because, you see, that is my point. He is batting with a lot of freedom. And by his batting in a lot of freedom, the other batters that are with him and unfollow him or bat with him after he loses a partner have the freedom to play. You see how Powell looked with him? They played an excellent innings partnership today. We need consistency of the order. We need King batting. We need Mayers have been failing. We do. Charles has been below average, below par.
Yeah.
And yet still, West Indies is winning. Take away Puran from that equation, it's going to be a difficult task. That's what we'll see whether West Indies is making improvement or not. They have been having one batsman, doing all he can. The momentum is him, but there's always going to be a time that he's going to fail, he's going to get run out. And what I'm seeing too, a point I wanted to make, they're having been stumped. It gives the wicketkeeper an opportunity to stump all batters. They keep, I don't know how long could the wicketkeeper hold the ball in his hand. If a guy's up on balance, he waits and waits and waits and waits with the ball in his hand before he breaks this up. And just as if, I don't know how long that is. But the point is, West Indies have had too many times they have appealed for a stumping. You see how many times? And some holder, for instance, look at how long holder stayed there so long and not even looking back to see where foot is. Yeah. And many batters like that has gotten the same treatment too. And India can pick up a few wickets now in that route, and that can set them back. So I'm not happy with the top order of the batting except for Puran. Hetmeyer came back, and we thought that he would be hitting it from the ground, running. He looked a shadow of himself too. But his fielding, I must say, has been outstanding, and that of not Chase, but the left armer that opens Mayers. So you got to give them some credit. They win, and I am impressed with Powell's captaincy. Very impressed with it, at least how he rotated his bowlers today. And you see how Joseph looked a different player today. He was bowling well. He batted like a champion, and they won. But West Indies still have some problems in the middle. Not everybody's scoring. You can't be hitting all the balls to the boundary all the time. You can hit and get singles. Hit the balls on the ground. Too many balls were hit and or for catches. You gotta eliminate that because there are gonna be times you can't get none over the top. And if you hit 4 twos, 8 and over, give you 160, and you get an extra 4 or 6, you put it to 170, which is very difficult to chase. But all in all, exciting matches, but there are flaws in both teams. And I hope West Indies look back on this tape and see what they did wrong and correct it.
Thank you, Leon.
I say a mouthful, but
all right. Okay.